TurboSM tutorial. This video will talk about how to use TurboSM software. Here is the shortcut for TurboSM 64. Double-click it to start. This is the main interface of the software. Let's first talk about data acquisition. This panel on the right is the camera control panel. Let's take a look at what's in camera settings. Here is a list of 8 configurations in this camera, and we are using DaVinci 1K camera as the example here. The first configuration is usually unbinned, full frame config, which is best used for focusing and positioning the sample. When one configuration is selected, the exposure time is automatically calculated based on its frame rate. This exposure time is the shortest for this configuration. You can slow it down by typing in longer time in milliseconds. If you have entered a longer exposure time for this configuration previously in this session, the software will remember it. We will come back to talk more about this interface when we talk about data streaming. Now, let's come back to the camera control panel. Live or single frame will acquire one frame at a time from the camera and display it. I want to point out that it is important to take a dark frame when a new configuration is first selected. Dark frame subtraction will remove the DC offset pattern from the image data, so the image will reflect the true light distribution. This is an image taken in the dark without dark frame subtraction. As you can see, there is a pattern of 8 channels of DC offsets. This is an image taken in a dark with dark frame subtraction. As you can see, the offset pattern has been removed. You can see a bit of rolling noise, but as soon as there is light, you don't see the noise anymore. Now, data streaming or data recording. Once your sample is positioned and focused, most users would like to make data recordings at much higher frame rate. Let's go back to the camera settings. For instance, you want to record data at 1 kHz frame rate. So we select this configuration. The exposure time for each frame will be 1 millisecond. You can decide how many frames you want to record in one trial and enter it here. Let's say 2000 frames. Then enter the folder and file name here. The folder will be created automatically if it doesn't already exist. For large format CMOS sensors, their windowed down high frame rate formats are often much wider than it is tall. You can enter the desired width here. For instance, if you want to crop them to square images, you would enter 320 in this case. Focus frame interval is for focus mode and is set here. We have covered the basic parameters that are crucial to data acquisition and will ignore the rest for now. Click OK to keep the new settings and close this interface. Now the new acquisition settings are summarized here in the red box. The configuration is 1000 Hz frame rate with 512 by 320 pixels. The exposure time per frame is 1 millisecond. The recording duration is 2000 frames, which is 2000 milliseconds. Here is the file name. The file name will increment automatically after each recording. If you want to overwrite existing files, check Overwrite. You will need to take another dark frame for the new configuration. Then use Live to view the image. You want to make sure your fluorescent image looks good. Do not check the focus mode unless your light level is very low when focusing. Focus mode uses the exposure time set under focus frame interval. Click Record to record data. The recorded data file will be read in immediately after recording. We will talk about how to view and analyze data in our next video. Bye for now.